Shalom, Kal Halayim La Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Wahawar Chakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of GMS that rule well, who I learned this truth from, and salutations and blessings to you elect out there, starting with 144,000. So this title, or the title of this lesson is called Be a Man of Constant Refinement, or Be a Man of Refinement. Okay? This is stemming from, well, actually, I was watching a show. All right, the show is called A Thousand Blows. It's a good show. You should check it out, especially if you're into boxing. This is like old school bare knuckle before, actually, right when they started to initiate the rules of gloves. And this guy right here, he's a big actor. I actually forget his name, but obviously he's in Snatch and other films, which he's actually a Benjaminite. This is an Israelite, and it follows these two, this guy on the right, Benjaminite, and his friend coming to England and whatnot. But anyway, in the show, there was a scene where Chinese noble or royal was in the land, and I guess he was a warlord in China, and there was a guy who had his whole family slaughtered, his village slaughtered by this guy, and he came to America as well, and he pretty much snuck up into his service, right, being a servant, offering drinks and all that stuff, right, butler of sorts. And there was a scene where he's there, whatever, and he's talking to him, right, the servant, the guy whose family was killed by this guy who he's serving, and he's talking in Chinese, and he said some words that it wasn't the right pronunciation, and the noble is like, hey, he's like, where are you from? What province are you from? He's like, you're Cantonese, or I don't know if they're speaking Cantonese or Mandarin, but he's like, your Chinese is horrible, right? And then whatever, he's serving him drinks, and then he kind of messes up one thing with the cup, and the guy got mad again. He's like, hey, he's like, what are you doing, man? He's like, you don't know how to do your job. He's cussing him out, and he's like, you're not a man of refinement. So that's where, the spirit's like, oh shit, like, that's a good lesson. Being a man of refinement. What does that mean, right? I typed this in ChatGPT. A man of refinement typically refers to someone who possesses a high level of culture, elegance, and good taste, both in behavior and lifestyle. And this goes tenfold for the men of the Lord. We need to have etiquette, we need to have good behavior, we need to have a good lifestyle, right? This is where, starting with the apostles and the bishops and the elders on down, right? They're telling us, they're instructing us that we got to look after ourselves, man, right? Be careful what you put in your body, watch what you eat, watch your diets, watch the excessiveness, of things we consume, not just even food, but TV, media, certain hobbies, or whatever the case is, certain activities. Be aware, right? The refinement can show up in a few key ways. Manners and etiquette. He is polite, considerate, and knows how to carry himself in social situations. Aesthetic sense, he appreciates beauty, art, music, literature, and may have a well-developed personal style. Speech and education, he speaks thoughtfully and articulately, and is often well-read or knowledgeable about various subjects, which brothers are. And again, this isn't tit for tat, this isn't pinpoint, right? Because brothers, as the scriptures say, with stammering lips and another tongue. Some brothers speak rude, whatever the case is. I'm not here saying we have to all speak like, try to top each other in eloquence. That's not the point of this. The point of this is we have, this is lambacking off my previous lesson about being emotionally responsible, or having emotional intelligence. That's where a lot of Israelites fail. Okay? That's where a lot of Israelites fail, man. A lot of men think you come in here and you're rough and you just become rougher. In a sense, yes. But that doesn't mean on the external we're looking for a fight, Self-control. This is 100%. He tends to be calm, disciplined, and composed, even under pressure, right? When people are barking at you and saying things, especially on the highways, man, keep your cool, you know? keep your cool, man. Somebody might be talking crap, getting close. Obviously, keep your distance. You know, keep your hands out. Don't let anyone come in your space. But we're not doing that. You know that thing. Jake gets in your face. You get it. You get in his face closer, and your chest bumping. All that stupidness, man. You know, sensitivity and empathy. He shows emotional intelligence and consideration for the feelings and needs of others. And this is again speaks volumes for captains and men that are over people, men that have responsibilities over other men, captains of tens and twenties and 50 and 100, right? The bishops and the elders and the apostles, right? Because those men that have a responsibility over other men, right? You have to be empathetic in a sense, because you have to perceive what does the scripture say in the book of Proverbs, right? Know the state of your flock. Okay, because as a flock we're one. We're many members of one body. So if one thing affects somebody, it can be affecting others. Okay, and it for sure affects the body in a way, even if it's the most minuscule thing, right? It doesn't necessarily mean being wealthy or pretentious. More about a cultivated inner world, exactly, and that's how that's expressed outwardly. Okay, I typed in also, what does it mean to constantly refine oneself? To constantly refine oneself means to engage in an ongoing process of self-improvement, self-awareness, and personal growth. It's the pursuit of becoming a better version of who you are mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually through deliberate effort. Here's what that often includes: self-awareness, regularly examining your thoughts, actions, and motivations with honesty. That's 100% what Paul said. Examine yourselves daily, whether you be in the faith. Examine yourself, right? Just like a detective it might be examining in the what do you call it, man? What do you call that room? Forget what they call it, man. But they're in the investigation room, right? They're talking, they're examining a situation. That's how you should examine yourself and be brutally honest. I'm fucking up here 100%. I need to make a switch on that. Okay? I'm doing better here. Tawari Haubashim Yao Shai. Even just take in the good and the bad, man. Okay? And try to cast away the bad as much as you can. All right? But being honest with yourself is very crucial. Learning and growth. Number 2, seeking knowledge, developing new skills, and staying open to new perspectives. And everything I'm reading is I'm not talking about the world. Some people might be thinking, yeah, better job. Yeah, everything I'm saying, I'm thinking about in this ministry. Seeking knowledge of what? Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay? I was about to say verse 3. Number 3, emotional mastery. So hard in this day and age, man. Cultivating patience, humility, empathy, and discipline over reactions and habits. How you feel. I feel like shit, so I'm going to go back into this habit. I feel like shit, I'm going to eat this food. It's going to give me comfort, right? Comfort food. But, make an emotional decision. Hey, understand, I'm feeling this way. I'm not going to let it pull me back into my old habit. I have to exercise my emotions, right? Physical cultivation, maintaining health, posture, strength, and appearance with care and intention, ethical alignment, living according to higher principles, honor, integrity, respect, kindness, letting go, shedding what no longer serves you, negative habits, limiting beliefs, unhealthy attachments. It's like polishing a blade, not out of vanity, but to keep it sharp, useful, and worthy of its purpose. See? So, as you see, this is very useful in the truth, man. Just applying some of these things, looking at different ways, or different perspective, taking rebuke because another man sees, hey, I see from this angle and I see things aren't right. Let's get some scriptures though. The book of Proverbs 25:4. Take away the dross from the silver, and there shall come forth a vessel for the finer, Take away the wicked from before the king, and his throne shall be established in righteousness. Right? NLT reads, remove the impurities from silver, and the sterling will be ready for the silversmith. Remove the wicked from the king's court, and his reign made just will be made secure by justice. Okay, so we're constantly removing the dross, the impurities. Okay, this is Psalms 105 and 17. It says, he sent a man before them, even Joseph, who was sold for a servant. Actually, let me get this in the blue letter because I want to see what the NLT says. Psalms 105. It says, 18, whose feet they hurt with fetters. He was laid in iron until the time that his word came. The Lord, Slaki, the word of the Lord Yahweh tried him. Okay. NLT in verse 19, it says, until the time came to fulfill his dreams, the Lord tested Joseph's character. And that's all part of refinement. The actual word refinement, Slaki, I forgot to bring it out. Refine, a verb to bring or reduce to a pure state or a condition of purity as full as possible. Okay, now in the adjective fine, unblemished, refined, pure, free of impurities, also of high quality, choice, perfected. What did Yahushua said? Be perfect, even as my Father in heaven is perfect. That's something that Apostle Gabar always talked about. He hit that mark years ago. He always talked about that, man. And that was such an, intimidating thing for me personally. I'm like, damn, that's a high mark. But as you get refined, you exercise patience, you increase in faith. These things are all possible, but we're not going to be ever perfect. The goal is to keep climbing, though. Keep going, man. Don't go down. Don't go like these people, man. Just head down in the phone, walking about, going, down a terrible valley. Go up the mountain, so to speak, man. Keep going up that difficult route. Okay? So that word fine, refine, right? Means back to the unblemished state. We're going back to that godly state, man. Now let's see. Malachi 3. Actually, I'll get Isaiah 1 first. That was on the list. Isaiah 1 and 21. It says, how is the faithful city become an harlot? It was full of judgment. Righteousness lodged in it, but now murderers. Thy silver is become dross. Thy wine mixed with water. Thy princes are rebellious and companions of thieves. Everyone loveth gifts and followeth after rewards. They judge not the fatherless, neither doth the cause of the widow come unto them. Therefore said the Lord, the Yahweh of hosts, the power of hosts, the mighty one of Israel, I will ease me of mine adversaries and avenge me of mine enemies. And I will turn my hand upon thee, and purely purge away thy dross, and take away all thy tin. And I will restore thy judges as at the first, and thy counselors as at the beginning. Afterward thou shalt be called the city of righteousness, the faithful city. Zion shall be redeemed with judgment, and her converts with righteousness. And the destruction of the transgressors and of the sinners shall be together, and they that forsake the Lord Yahweh shall be consumed. For they shall be ashamed of the oaks which ye have desired, and ye shall be confounded for the gardens that ye have chosen. Right, this is going into idolatry. For ye shall be as an oak whose leaf fadeth, and as a garden that hath no water. And the strong shall be as tow, and the maker of it as a spark, and they shall both burn together, and none shall quench them. In the NLT, verse 25, it says, I will raise my fist against you. I will melt you down and skim off your slag. I will remove all your impurities. Then I will give you good judges again and wise counselors, like you used to have. Then Jerusalem will again be called the home of justice and the faithful city. Zion will be restored by justice. Those who repent will be revived by righteousness. Woo! Man, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai. That just sounds amazing reading that. Because we're in that time, man. The Lord is reviving his men. Alright, the Lord is well aware of that number. So let's go to Malachi 3. Malachi 3 and 1. It says, let me see. Yeah, I'll start a KJV. Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me. And the Lord whom ye seek shall suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant whom ye delight in. Behold, he shall come, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts. But who may abide the day of his coming? And who shall stand when he appeareth? For he is like a refiner's fire, and like fuller's soap. And he shall sit as a refiner and purifier of silver, and he shall purify the sons of Levi, and purge them as gold and silver, that they may offer unto the Lord Yahweh an offering in righteousness. I believe that was to 7. Verse 4, Then shall the offering of Judah and Jerusalem be pleasant unto the Lord Yahweh, as in the days of old, and as in former days. And I will come near to you to judgment, and I will be a swift witness against the sorcerers, against the adulterers, and against false swearers, and against those that oppress the hireling in his wages, the widow and the fatherless, and that turn aside the stranger from his right. And fear not me, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, for I am the Lord Yahweh, I change not. Therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. Even from the days of your fathers ye are gone away from mine ordinances, and have not kept them. Return unto me, and I will turn unto you, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts. But he said, Wherein shall we return? In the NLT verse 2, it says, But who will be able to endure it when he comes? Who will be able to stand and face him when he appears? For he will be like a blazing fire that refines metal, or like a strong soap that bleaches clothes. He will sit like a refiner of silver, burning away the dross. He will purify the Levites, refining them like gold and silver, so that they may once again offer acceptable sacrifices to the Lord Yahweh. All right? Again, man, more of that refining, scrubbing. If you want an idea of refining, scrubbing clothes with some high bleach, some serious soap, okay, or really a refiner is a smelter or a blacksmith, okay. You're burning away the dross, the impurities of silver and gold, right? Let's go to the book of Proverbs 17 and verse 3. It says, The fining pot is for silver, and the furnace for gold, but the Lord Yahweh trieth the hearts. NLT, fire tests the purity of silver and gold, but the Lord Yahweh tests the heart, you know. And as it says in 2 Ezra 16 at the end there, it says, who can hide from the Most High, pretty much? Who can, woe unto them that try to hide their sins. Okay? So the fire is coming, man. Either you're going to get refined if you're a man of the Lord, okay, and if you deny the Yahweh Shem Yahushua and just go after your own heart, you're still going to be melted. You know, Isaiah 48 and 9. And this word also, that's not here. But the word, refined, when you look it up, it's the same, you know, it pretty much means like a smelting away. All right, like a blacksmith. Is that Isaiah 48? And 9, For my name's sake will I defer mine anger, and for my praise will I refrain for thee, that I cut thee not off. Behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction. For mine own sake, even for mine own sake, will I do it. For how should my name be polluted? And I will not give my glory unto another. Okay, verse 10 NLT, I have refined you, but not as silver is refined. Rather, I have refined you in the furnace of suffering. All right, and this again, this word refine. All right, sarap. All right, refine, test. See that testing. And see, when somebody brings a piece of gold and says, "Oh, this is amazing," or whatever, and the blacksmith or whatever, the smelter is using it, and he says, "Okay, let's see," and he tries it. And damn near there's nothing left when he refines it. That it was just a lot of fluff. It was just, it looked big, it looked good, precious, but that the purity is very small in there. We want to be found with matter, with substance, with integrity. Anyway, I hope you're edified with that. Kal halal yam la Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai Shalom.